AITA for ignoring my mother after what she said. TWSA. So for some background, a couple and their kids recently moved into the neighborhood, and they tend to play a lot of loud music. I'm talking, you can hear it before you round the corner back into the block. They've had several noise complaints, but according to the agent who was last called, they don't have anywhere else to go because they've been kicked out of everywhere else. Note: I, F17, live in government house with my family because of the stupid actions of my mother, such as wanting and getting pregnant at 16 years old before ditching the baby daddy and then getting pregnant 3 more times whole. We lived in borderline poverty. I'm the second youngest. She made no efforts in her education and actually dropped out of school when she got pregnant. She didn't get a job until I was 14 years old, and that was only minimum, part-time. We'd been living on unemployment and debt since. So that meant living with black mold, paper-thin walls, and sometimes sharing beds. End note. Recently the neighbors have been kicking up a storm with the music. 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. back to back. So unless someone is screaming or knocking loudly, then you can't hear them. Some other neighbors have even tried going to their house to manually cut the power, and that lead to fights which lead to arrests. But on this particular day I didn't hear my sister coming back from work and knocking on the door because of the music. But she eventually just texted me and I let her in. My mother was infuriated that I didn't hear her, despite the loud music, because the food she'd wanted my older sister to pick up is now cold. She said, and I quote, "Imagine if someone would have come into S.A.U., you would have been screaming then. Someone would have heard. Imagine if they ignored you. S.A. being the R word." I told her to stop being dramatic, and it was disgusting that she'd say that. She just continued with herself, so I decided to completely ignore her, regardless of whether the music was playing or not. She has since been enraged at the fact that I'm not listening to her, even threatening to pop me in my jaw. I've stayed firm on my stance. So AITA for ignoring my 40F mother after she threatened me with R0P. Edit. To clear some things up in the comments, I didn't want to get into a lot of details with certain aspects of what she said, as the topic of sex is icky to me. It makes me uncomfortable and I dislike to think about it despite my age. I do live in a neighborhood where the police are as useful as vegetable oil in a car, to put it bluntly. Additional, we have made multiple complaints about the noise, but it's fallen on deaf ears. It's clear from some users in the comments that they feel obliged to press in more details than I feel less comfortable admitting, and it's honestly gotten under my skin. From what I've seen, I'm the a-hole, but I don't understand how, so I'll figure it out in the long run with my therapist. This will be my last post, as I feel uncomfortable with answering some personal questions and with the continuous nitpicking at me. Hope you have a nice day.